Hey guys, I am back today with another journaling vlog. Today we are going to talk about all the purchases that I made for 2022. And let me tell you guys, this is a journey. So sit down, grab some popcorn because it might get dramatic over here. So first let's backtrack to 2021. So in 2021, my main guys were these two guys, right? I have a Hobonichi A6 size planner and then this Mikel Rius journal, right? A6 size, she's great on the inside. This is a traveler's notebook band, by the way. But yeah, these two, love these two. So I wanted a system very similar to this. So when it came to the planner, very easy. I'm just gonna use another Hobonichi, right? So this cover and then a 2022 planner. Cool. So that's that for that. Meanwhile, for the journal, I was kind of looking at other Hobonichi covers because, you know, Hobonichi covers are so beautiful. And this guy was in my top 3 choices. So this is the plaid one. So I kind of hit 2 birds with 1 stone, right? So I purchased this planner cover from Jet Pens, this plaid one, and it came in a set with the 2022 planner. Okay, cool. So that's the journal cover and the planner for next year, right? Okay, cool. Very self-explanatory. Now for the journal insert, I decided to go for a A6 Stalogy. I have never used a Stalogy before, but I know that, you know, they are literally identical to size as a A6 Hobonichi planner. So obviously the A6 Stalogy is gonna fit beautifully in this Hobonichi cover, right? So I have, here we go, the planner, the journal. Meanwhile, I had also purchased the what is this? It's the Hobonichi just plain A6 notebook. I was just very curious about this notebook. And then I had also gotten the Midori grid notebook. This is grid, right? Yes, Midori grid notebook. I enjoyed using this notebook for like non-journal planning related tasks. And this is basically, again, so it's the same dimensions, but this like plain Hobonichi A6 notebook is, as you can see, it's a lot thinner than a Midori A6. But again, I was just very curious about this and I knew this was great, so I just decided to go for it. So my original purchases for 2022 were this. So the planner came with the cover, and then the A6 Stalogy, and then some other A6 size notebooks. There's a theme here, right? I love A6 size notebooks. Cool. Now, remember the words that I just said, original purchases, because baby, there's more. All right, so journal and planning aside, I had also gotten this PVC transparent binder from Moshi Things. And then I also got some paper refills and then this Ziploc pouch. So here we go. This is not a set. You kind of have to like build your own set, but there's no bundle deals on Moshi Things. But you know, you purchase what you want. Anyway, so my idea for this is I've been wanting to make a recipe book for the longest time, just kind of put together all my favorite recipes, like what I know is just not going to change anytime soon, like, you know, homemade mac and cheese. So I wanted to make a recipe book, and I feel like I will love this the most because PVC binders, for some reason, I'm so attracted to them. I have no idea why. I think it's because they're, you know, just super simple and, you know, very customizable. And so with these paper inserts, I can, you know, adjust my printer to print to this size. And then I will print the recipes that I want and then just stuff them in here. Now, the only thing with Moshi Things is that I did not see dividers for this guy, or maybe I just missed it somehow, but I did not see dividers, or maybe I just didn't see dividers that I liked, because as you can see, it's pretty plain. it's pretty plain around here, right? And then Mochi things, they have a lot of colorful things as well. So maybe that's why I just didn't find anything neutral enough for my taste. Anyways, so this is, you know, my future recipe book. So this was a purchase that I made just for that little project, and hopefully in 2022 I will have a nice, you know, recipe log up in here. All right, so let's take inventory. We have the recipe book, the planner, and the journaling setup, and then some standbys. There's already a lot going on. Let's make some piles, right? So the going to use pile, going to use recipe book, going to use journal with journal cover, going to use planner, and then, you know, remember that this leather cover is off to the side. Actually, let me go ahead and just, okay, leather cover for planner, okay. Going to use, this is the system I'm going to use. And then some standbys, right? This is the original setup, the original purchases, if you will. Well, what happened? Let me tell you what happened. Michelle decided to get a Hobonichi Weeks because, you know, I kept seeing these. The size looked very cute. I have never used a Hobonichi Weeks before, and I kept seeing it on Instagram and seeing how people use it. And you know what? Like, I was so curious. I was a curious cat. All right, phone is on airplane mode. I was very curious. It was killing me. I had to figure out what was going on. Now, I will say, I did miss having some kind of weekly setup, because with the Hobonichi planners, you know, it's a daily thing. And I kind of missed having a week at a glance. I did have something similar on Notion, but I just was not looking at Notion every day, right? At the end of the day, I'm an analog planner, not a digital planner. So I figured that I could just use these two in tangent, the daily planner and the weekly planner. And I always figured, well, you know what? I feel like it's thin enough that I can like squeeze in the same planner cover and ruin the leather cover. You know, we'll see. But again, I just really missed having a weekly setup. So I just took a dive and went for the Hobonichi Weeks. This was definitely not my first choice in the Hobonichi Weeks cover. I got the cat and dog cooking. My God, there's a dead rat right there. What the heck? This is not hygienic. But you know, the Hobonichi Weeks are very popular. So like the covers that I did want kept selling out. So I just went for the dog and cat. At the end of the day, it is cute despite the dead rat. So here we go. A new purchase for the planning system. We are adding this to the will use pile. Standbys are right here. But then what happens? Well, let me tell you what happens next. So as we know, I was using these Michael Rius journals, notebooks as a journal, and I had finished the journal, and well, my heart kind of broke. I was so sad that I was not gonna use this journal any longer. I mean, it's such a good size. The grid is great. It works so well with the Muji pen. I loved everything about this notebook, and I suddenly felt that this little Stalogy was just not gonna cut it for me. So then I am just, you know, going through the internet, trying to find these freaking Michael Rius notebooks, because they're hard to come by. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if Spain is just not producing enough of these guys, but it's a little tricky getting the hands on these guys. So I ended up finding on Amazon a 2-pack of this, literally the exact same one, but in red. And I already started using this guy a little bit. But yes, so literally the exact same notebook, but in red. And it's like, yes, you know what? This kind of goes well with this cover. And I had already tested it out, that these notebooks do in fact fit in the Hobonichi A6 size, so it worked out. So now let's reevaluate what we got, right? So Stylogy notebook, now we are moving into the, standby. Not gonna use it anytime soon. Hobonichis, and then these Mikel Ruiz, gonna use it in this cover. This was last year. And then I have a 2-pack, right? Definitely gonna use both of these guys. There we go, boom. All right, so, not looking too bad right now, but then what happens? Here we go, here's what happens next. So what happens next is that Michelle could not stop thinking about a certain Hobonichi notebook cover. Again, A6 size, and it was like literally one of my top choices, but it kept selling out, so I could never get my hands on it. And then on a whim, I looked at the JetPens website, and there it was in stock, and I was like, oh my God, I have to get it, I have to get it, I have to get it. What was the notebook cover? This one. This is called Reflect, because it has a cat looking at his little reflection in the mirror, and I couldn't stop thinking about this notebook. Look at her, she's so good. Oh, look at this cloth on the outside, like the softest leather ever on the inside. Pen loop, pockets, big brass button. She's beautiful. Oh my gosh, I couldn't, guys, it was an obsession. I could not stop thinking about this darn notebook cover. It was a problem. So I went ahead and I got it on JetPens. What's the problem with getting it on JetPens? It came with another planner. Because of the way it's packaged, they just cannot break up the set. So if I wanted the notebook cover, I had to get the planner. So it came together, right? It came together. This is how you're supposed to use it. Well, that's not how I'm gonna use it. You know how I'm gonna use this? I'm gonna use this as a journal cover. So I'm using this as a journal cover. Look at that, fits like a glove, beautiful. Here's the standby refill, boom, look at this, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. It's like true love, soulmates. Oh my God, I knew there was a reason why I was so obsessed with this darn cover, because it's so beautiful, you guys. I really could not stop thinking about it. But now, the problem is I have this extra planner, right? Because remember, here we go. Now I have 2 planners. Yay, I don't know what I'm gonna do this. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all this. So now let's reevaluate the piles, right? So now this cover gets moved over here because we're not using it. We have a second planner, not using it anytime soon. And then we have the new journal system. Boom. So the will use, so the PVC binder, the Hobonichi planner, the Mikel Ruiz journals with the Hobonichi cover, and the Hobonichi weeks. Meanwhile, we have here the Hobonichi A6, not blank, but not dated. There we go. The undated Hobonichi notebook, the Midori grid, the Stylogy, and the Hobonichi cover, and a Hobonichi planner. I need everyone to notice that this is the original purchases, okay? This is ridiculous. It's like, why did I bother making these original purchases if I ended up doing something completely different? Look at that. These are 2 completely different journal setups, journal planner setups. This is a fortune. These guys they don't come for cheap. These little Hobonichis with their little covers. These guys ain't cheap. And look at here. I have so much and I don't know what to do. I mean, I know what I'm gonna do with this, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. What am I gonna do with all these? So here we go, guys. This is the problem that I now face going into 2022. I just have like this surplus, a surplus on top of all this. Goodness freaking gracious. So I think a good moral of the story is when planners start being released in September, October, don't just automatically, get something. If you really want something, like let's say this, I really wanted this. like just wait for it to come to you, right? Just wait for it to become back in stock. Also, just because you like the system you're using now, it doesn't mean that there's room for, experimentation or even more adjustments. So, I got the Hobonichi weeks because I figured out that the daily planning was not doing enough for me. I think another moral of the story would be just double think your plans, especially when it comes to like purchases like these. When these are not exactly very cheap, these little Hobonichi guys. So yeah, I think for next year when, journal season comes out in September, October, I'm really just gonna like simmer and think about it and really just be like, what do I really want? And that's something you gotta figure out. That's a good moral of the story. What do you really want out of anything, especially out of paper products? This is overwhelming. Look at this. I can't even think. This is too much. Don't get me wrong, I look forward to this setup. I'm just worried that I'm not going to utilize everything that, I just got. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was entertaining for you. I would really love to know what, if you had any purchase crises of your own, if you got one system and then decided to get something else. I need to know that I am not alone in all this. Thank you again for watching. Happy journaling, happy 2022, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.